So today we will discuss lecture 15 of helicopter dynamics, and I am going to talk about motion dependent forces. I am Dr. Ranjan Ganguly. Now typically if we look at a rotor blade, we have some forces which act on this blade, and these forces are essentially generated by the fluid flow on the blade. So these come from your lift, drag, pitching moment, and so on. Now in structural dynamics, most of these forces are functions of time. But in helicopter dynamics, as well as in many flying vehicles, we encounter what are known as motion dependent forces. So here, the force is a function of W and T, W being the motion itself of this particular body which is generating lift. So that is an important aspect about structure fluid coupling, which often happens in this kind of problem. So in helicopter dynamics, this becomes an important aspect. So for example, you could consider that whenever the blade goes through some kind of torsional motion, that would essentially change the angle the blade sees with respect to the air, and therefore the lift, drag, and pitching moment would change. So you would essentially get a motion dependent force here. Now the force in the wing is not only a function of time w but also a function of the motion. So not only a function of time t but also of the motion w. So this creates a lot of complication as you can expect, and we will see that in the mathematics because the right hand side is a function of variables in the left hand side. And in fact, I should say there is a complete science which is dedicated to study of motion dependent forces. We are not going to study that in detail. Maybe I will make a video lecture on this entire subject. This is known as aero elasticity. So as the name shows, it's essentially a problem where the forces which are coming from the aerodynamics of the system are coupling with those caused by the structural aspects of the system. So let's get back to our equations. So that's a general equation for a multi-degree of freedom discrete system. So we have mass, we have stiffness, we have forcing, and we have our usual degrees of freedom. And now what happens is that the forcing function is not only a function of a part which only depends on time, which is often the case in structural dynamics, but also several terms which are coming from motion. So essentially these are terms involving W, which itself is a solution of this particular equation which we want to obtain. So these terms are essentially what are known as motion dependent forces, and as you can see, this one is displacement based, this one is velocity based, this one is acceleration based, and maybe there are more such terms. So let's keep our mind at these three terms which are typical. Now again we assume a modal solution as usual, so we say the solution is mode 1 into modal coordinate 1 plus mode 2 into modal coordinate 2 plus so on. And when we make this substitution into our governing differential equation, we get our usual systems which are of single degree of freedom type. And now we are going to concentrate on S of R, which is the main culprit in this particular situation because the motion is going to come here. So now we have our forcing. We substitute this in this SR, and therefore we can expand out SR in this particular form. So you see here the phi RT term is there, then the first term is there, then you have this term here coming from A, then another term coming from B, there'll be a term coming from E, and so on. There should be F bar here. So we take this here, and then we don't want to write out all this notation each time. So what we are going to do is we are going to define new notation. So let's define this SR bar as phi RT F bar. So that becomes this term here. Then we are going to take this whole thing here and define this alpha term given by this here. We are going to define similar beta term, y term, and so on. So essentially all these are things we are trying to do. We are essentially trying to simplify this equation. So remember, this thing can be written in a simpler form, and that is the form here. So what has happened now is that you have a constant term here, which is a function of time, and then you have these motion dependent terms here. All the motion dependent coordinates have now been expressed in terms of the modal coordinates. So let's go back to the governing differential equation of motion in the modal space. This was the equation. So we have the left hand side, which is untouched as of yet, and then we have the right hand side, which now has become very complicated. So we expand out and look at this right hand side carefully. We have to now consider all these motion dependent terms here. Now if we look at this equation very carefully, we are going to realize that the uncoupling which we had obtained before has now been removed. These are actually coupled equations because you have all the different modes being present here. It's not just the mode corresponding to R. And therefore you have coupled equations. The system is not conservative. Now typically these equations are best solved by taking the motion dependent forces to the left hand side and solving them. That's a subject in its own right. Right now we are just going to say that these equations can be solved numerically. We can solve them using various numerical methods for differential equations. So if you have ever studied a numerical analysis course and you have looked at methods to solve differential equations, you can use some of those methods here. You are again going to get back to a coupled system of equations, so you have to write all those out, and then you have to take the help of MATLAB or some toolbox to essentially find out the solution of these equations. So I'll end this video here. I'll see you in my next lecture.